Hi, everybody. I'm Gary. I'm the CEO of the G.W. Murphy family of businesses, and today I have Terry Wilkins with us. So Terry works in our two-step division in sales, G.W. Murphy Wholesale. In addition, Terry, long-term employee, you've been with us for how many years now?
About 14 years. March it'll be 14.
Oh,
so.
well, happy anniversary,
Yeah.
Terry. That's fantastic. But Terry has worked in a number of different roles, which we'll get into in a second, but he was really instrumental, played an instrumental part as we were developing these core values that we're going to be talking about today, the gritty values. And so we had an ad hoc team, and Terry was in there, and we all together went through each of our values and said, is this the right value? Is this the right description that we want to live by within this organization? So today we're going to be talking about the golden rule. And Terry, I thought you were a great person to talk about this as something that I know you live out in every aspect of your life. But before we get into it, I just want to read our definition that we use within the company for the golden rule. It says, we adhere to the golden rule, doing unto others as you would have others do unto you, is the right thing to do. The way we treat others is who we are, not who they are. So Terry, do you just want to speak to that phrase?
I do love the last part of that quote is the fact of it doesn't matter how other people treat you. Mm-hmm. It's right to treat other people respectfully, and that's the next one in gritty. But it's a lot more. It's on you. It's how you do things, and so doing that. Being that person that respects other people and putting yourself in their shoes of how you would want to be treated under in that situation, that's how I perceive things in the golden rule. And I think that's the biggest part. The biggest part of the golden rule is how you see things.
Appreciate you sharing that. As you were saying that, I was thinking about the different roles that you've had within the company. Now I'm probably going to screw this up, but so you were a forklift driver, you were a supervisor out in the yard, you were a truck driver for us, you've been in sales and logistics coordinator for us. Did I miss any?
No,
I got them all? All right, I get an A. So anyways, in each of those roles, what the golden rule looked like, I imagine had to have been a little bit different. So if you could just grab one of those, or maybe a couple of them, and then share what that looked like on a daily basis.
It really was different for each job. I mean, like when you're a forklift driver, you're trying to see things, you have to look at it like the production guy just put this all together, and you're taking their work and putting it out in the yard, or you're bringing it to the roofer. And as you're bringing it to the roofer, you're like, being that I was a roofer for 20 plus years, I understand the task that they have at hand, some of the complications that they might run into. And so when you see something, and so you put yourself in their position, as a production guy, you're looking at, hey, I just spent 12 hours putting that thing together, and you're taking it out there and bouncing it around, making it look like trash or whatever. And so you're looking at that, and you want to make sure that you treat things, with the respect of their job, of their labor, and then also giving it to someone that's going to be lugging it up onto a roof, and you got 80 plus pounds and all the work that goes behind that, and looking at that whole scenario and making sure that you're giving them good product. And then as far as logistics, being that I was a truck driver, and then I went into logistics coordinating, saying, well, I know if he's going up on the north side, he's not going to want to come all the way back to the south side to go back to the north side. So let's try and make it, good for everybody, and putting yourself in their shoes to make it work for them. Yeah, I think that's a lot to the golden rule.
Making it good for everybody. That's really important.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
So the golden rule now, like today, so you're in two-step sales. So most of your conversation is really either by email or on the phone, where it's not face-to-face, kind of like the things you were describing before. So how does the golden rule really apply to interactions with your customers nowadays?
It's been a learning process for me in sales, on the sales part of it, because now you're looking at things on a different level.
Mm-hmm.
You know, before you were looking at things where it was labor intensive, you know, and now you're looking at it as as business intensive, and it's a different aspect, and so trying to put yourself in a customer's position of, I think this would really work out for you. And sometimes you get pretty passionate about it, and it almost comes off like pushy or something like that, but it's not pushy. It's just like, I know this will work in your area, and I know you'd be able to make a profit, and this would really help out your company. And so sometimes that comes out in the conversations, to where if they don't see me or hear the inflections in my voice, if we're just doing it over email, you know, it's like, what's this guy talking about, kind of thing. And it's like, I didn't mean to come off that way, but it's...
Yeah, as you said that, I could hear the care in your voice, you know, knowing you. But beyond that, and beyond the workplace, and I'm going to embarrass you probably a little bit here, but you have a history of really looking out for people beyond the daily transactional stuff. You know, I'm thinking of several examples, but one that comes to mind was, we had a member of our team that lost her husband. And I remember you and your son, one day it was snowing, and you guys went out to her home and you shoveled the driveway for her, which I just thought that was awesome. And I could think of several other examples. Actually, we could spend a lot of time on it.
Let's not go down that road, please.
But if you could just kind of speak to your heart, you know, beyond like the transactional stuff, your heart behind the golden rule.
Okay. Well, I mean, it comes with upbringing. You know, I mean, my dad instilled in me when we were growing up, you know, well, how would you feel if you were in those shoes, and things like that. You know, he respected everybody, and if somebody was on hard times, it wasn't because of anything else. It was because that's just situations. You help them out if you can help them out. And so with the situation you were talking about, you know, if that was my mom, I would want somebody to help her out and things like that. I was raised to, you take care of the widows, you take care of, you know, of people that are hard on their luck. You don't look down on them. You respect them, and you reach out a hand. You know, sometimes you get your hand slapped, but you still offer it. You know, I mean, because that's the way you would want to be treated. And so, in some instances, you know, it, like I said, it's in the upbringing. My dad instilled it into my core values growing up. And I wanted to instill it into my kids' core values, which is why I brought my son with me to go out and, well, that, and he was younger and he could shovel better. So, but you know, I mean, it was one of those things that's how I look at things most of the time. I won't say all the time, but I really try to see both sides of the story before I make a judgment.
I appreciate you sharing that personal stuff. I'm sure your family would be honored that you're following your dad's advice and the upbringing that you had in your household. And I want you to know that I'm honored to have you on this team.
I'm very honored. I'm very honored that you had me on the team for the Gritty values. I really enjoy. I don't know if I could emphasize it enough on how important these Gritty values are. I've used it in a lot of things on a lot of people that I talk to, and you know, sometimes I'll bring up, you know, well, you gotta be respectful, you know, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a Gritty value, you know, and I love that Gritty, you know, it means you get down and you grind. You have to work at it. It's not something that comes natural by any means most of the time. It's something that you have to instill in practice, you know.
That's awesome. So. Well, thanks for sharing that, Terry.
Thank you.
Thanks everybody for watching. Take care.
Thanks.